So let me tell you what's going on. We got the tractor down to the shop now. TYM 4058 has been giving me a little bit of a problem with the power shuttle and the clutch. Now, there's been a couple of comments I've had about people that are having some of the same problems, and I'm hoping they figure out how to resolve this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to hope that they can resolve this, and maybe this will help out someone else, and that's the whole point. So we're got it down there. I dropped it off just a few minutes ago. We're back to the house, and I've got some work to do, but that's what's going on right now. I'm gonna let you guys know what happens and how they are able to fix it or not fix it. Let's hope they fix it. But it's back down there at Deet's tractor right now. They're working on it, and I got to give them that opportunity to take care of it. And you know, they've been on the phone with TYM before with this tractor to help resolve some of the issues, and I think they're going to get it resolved, but we won't know till we get it back. And I'm going to let you know as soon as it's back, which will hopefully won't be too long. I hope that works out, but probably won't be picking it up probably a week. I got to go to work, and it gets in the way of everything, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but I'm thankful for the job. So anyways, we'll wait till I get the phone call and says, hey, it's ready, or hey, can you come down here and show me what it's doing, or whatever it is. But I didn't get to talk to the tech today. Hopefully they were able to get it figured out. I really hope the TYM figures this out, and that the tech gets it figured out. You know, I do wish for people's success. It seems like, especially on YouTube, and especially with the problems that people have had, and I'm not downplaying that at all. It's like they want you to fail, and I don't want anyone to have failure with any tractor. I don't care what brand it is or anything else, but it's almost like, you know, you buy a brand and somebody else has had a problem with it, and it turns into good luck. You know, you're going to have the same problems that I had. Well, I don't wish that on anybody. I really do not. And so let's hope that they can figure this out. And if they figure this out, they'll be able to help others that are having maybe some of the same problems. I'm not wishing for TYM or any other tractor brand to fail. I'm wishing for them to succeed, because in the world of tractors, in the world of the market we have, our choices sometimes seem to only be limited to maybe Kubota or John Deere, and those are great tractors. There's nothing wrong with either one of those tractors. They've proven themselves. Kubota has had problems when they first came into the United States, and coming in from Japan, they're not an American-made product. They're not an American-owned business. A lot of John Deeres are not made in America. They're made overseas in different places. And that's just the way it is. And that's the kind of world we live in, unfortunately. Sometimes it seems like everybody wants everything to be made right here in America. And I agree. I'm an American. I want American products. But sometimes that's just not doable. And I do think that by having I do think that the competition is needed to keep control on pricing, keep control on all this stuff. The only problem I do have, and I'm going to agree with anyone that says this, is that if the quality of the tractor or the car or whatever it is not up to par, then they're using cheap parts or whatever it might be, then that's a problem. I've given TYM a chance. I'm working with it. I bought this tractor. This is not a sponsored deal. I don't have any sponsorships with LS or TYM or anybody else. It would be nice, because then I can afford a little more, maybe, and I can do a little bit better reviews on some of these tractors. And I think that we got to be really cautious and careful wishing failure on other people. It's just not right. All right, it's been a couple of weeks. We got the tractor, the TYM, back. I have mixed feelings about this. So this is where we're going to start. The TYM was actually done within about a week and a couple of days. And they gave me a call and said, come test drive it, see what you think. And we went and drove it, and it seemed to run fairly decent. It's better than it was, but it's still not good. We have it back at the house. What we're going to do is we're going to run it for a few more hours. We're going to try to break the clutches in a little bit better to see if that makes a difference. I don't know. We're just going to see if we can make it a little bit better. Now, they did fix the steps, I guess you could say, somewhat. They're better. The steps are not broke anymore. They had a little, what was going on is the steps had a little crack started on them in the frame, which is bad, by the way. I'm not going to say that that's anything normal. It's not, okay? And so they had to go in there and they put a weld on that and welded it back up. And the steps are a lot firmer than what they were. But I hope that does not become an issue farther down the road. Now, might be something that I have to fix, which is, somewhat aggravating, because there's tractors out there that are, 50 years old that unless they hit the steps, they've never had a step problem. I've never hit the steps. And so here I am with what seems like a simple little thing here, steps to climb up in the tractor with, and they're cracked and broken and other things such as that. But they've been fixed, and from what I can tell, they're working. One of the things that I would like to say is that I am doing my best to help other people that have maybe this tractor or one of the other TYM tractors that have this same issue. I'm putting the content out there to help you know what needs to be done to maybe fix the problem. TYM may blow me off, or my dealership might blow me off, which has not happened, by the way. The dealership's been great, but TYM may come back and say, so sad, too bad, go on down the road. But here's my experience so far with having this tractor fixed. It was responsive, okay? So I took it in, and they worked on it and tried to fix it. The TYM, the first time, got on the line, and they remote into a computer to work on the tractor, and they tried to fix it. So it wasn't from a lack of support. That was there. The support was there, from what I can tell. But the purpose of making these videos is to help other people maybe fix some of these problems. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. But if I can put the content out there and you can see the content and you can know, hey, I can do this. Maybe I need to run down and do this to help me get my tractor fixed. It's nowhere near as bad as it was, but it's not as good as it should be. So I'll say that right now. The other problems I'm having right now is only with the clutch forward. I am not having a problem with the power shuttle anymore. If you remember when we first took it down there, the power shuttle, when you put it in reverse, would just jerk and go backwards really hard. It's not supposed to do that. So my forward is fine. My reverse is fine on the power shuttle. My reverse on my clutch is very good. But the forward on the clutch is still very jerky. And our decision was, let's take it home. Let's get a fluid change in it, which is time. Let's get that taken care of. Let's use it a little bit more. Let's break those clutches in a little bit more. And then we'll look and see if we can smooth that out. Now, here's something that, again, I am not an expert on. I just want to let you know that all this stuff is computerized. And I don't expect you, I'm not an expert, but this stuff is computerized. And so here's what's going on. When they change a value on one item, apparently it changes the value somewhere else as well. So they have to go back and forth, changing values, trying to get this clutch adjustment. That's my understanding. Now, if I'm wrong and you're a tech and you've done this before, maybe you can correct me. I'm okay. I'm not an expert, but that's my understanding. I'm going to jump up here in the tractor. and show you a little bit of how it's operating now compared to what it was. We'll mainly just show you the clutch forward, reverse, and then the power shuttle forward, reverse, and that's what we had worked on. So one of the other things that I want to comment on is that I have noticed, and now, in my opinion, that if you let the tractor warm up a little bit more, let the fluids kind of get moving around inside of it before you throw it in forward or reverse, you have a little bit smoother transition. And now I haven't been actually doing that. I'm just saying that if you allow that tractor to warm up a little bit and let those fluids get warmer too, and so they actually thin down a little bit, the forward and reverse is going to be smoother by a little bit. And so that could be a problem that some people are having. I don't know how everybody uses their tractor. When I'm in my tractor, if I'm just throwing some feed out for hay, then I may not be in it that long. But for the most part, there are days where I'll jump in one of the tractors and I'll be in it for several hours and not just a few minutes. And so that putting that time on these tractors is necessary for things to break in and get a little bit better. Now, I'm not, guys, if you've had problems with your tractor, your TYM, your LS, your Coyote, your Ford, your Dodge, your Chevrolet, your John Deere, okay, all of them are going to have problems of some type, and maybe some of them more than others. But I'm not giving up on the TYM at all. I think so far everything about this tractor I actually like. Well laid out, better than some. Now there are other TYM tractors I am not a fan of because of the way they laid them out. But sometimes in order for, let's say this right here, in order for this to be the way it is, it's going to be computerized because all this is electrical. All this is electronics. If you want the old school technology, which is very good, by the way, you're going to have levers that will push and pull on the valves, whereas this type of stuff here is done electronically. So there's probably a solenoid or something of that nature, a rheostat, and that's what's operating those items. This is the same way with the clutch on this tractor. The same thing with the power shuttle on this tractor. It's all electronically done, either through, and the way I understand it is that when I put it into forward or reverse, then what happens is it sends a signal, and those clutch packs will close. Now they'll close at a rate, and that's what that's all about, is how fast those clutch packs close. Now, if you close them too fast, you're going to get that jerkiness. If you close them too slow, you're going to burn up a clutch. So you kind of got a problem both ways, and so you have to think about it. If I have this clutch closed too slow and I burn clutches up, I've not fixed anything. I caused a problem. I'm not justifying the way this thing operates. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that there are values that they put into those computers that determine how fast or how slow these clutches close. And that's the problem. We're not manually closing a clutch. We are electronically closing these clutches. Now, I may be saying some of that wrong. Whatever. That's the way I understand it. And so the way we close these clutches can have a huge impact on the clutch or how jerky or how hard it hits. So, yeah, that's the problem with some of our newer technology. Now, I've tried not to do this, but I have to say that my LS does not operate like that. It's very, very smooth. Impressively smooth, considering all things. I did not realize how smooth it was until I got this tractor. That tractor, that LS 573, is so much smoother. and very impressed with that. Now, am I disappointed in the TYM? No, I'm not disappointed in my TYM. I just need to put more hours on it and see how it operates. Remember, the reason I went with the 4058 was the size of the tractor, the horsepower of the tractor, the layout of the tractor. It seemed to run pretty good at the time. You only got a short amount of time. You make a decision on a tractor. If I had, when you're buying a tractor, if I had demoed it for a long time, I don't know, I could have maybe it changed my mind, or maybe it would have helped me make a better decision, or the right decision, or the wrong decision. I just don't know. But as far as this tractor goes, I've been pretty impressed with it. The big thing I don't like about it is there's no temperature gauge, and I'm going to put one in it. Why they didn't put a temperature gauge on this? Some people say use your cell phone. You got that whatever it's called, the electronic. You can Bluetooth into the tractor or whatever it is. I don't care about that. I'm sorry. I don't like that. I want all my gauges right here in front of me. I don't like to pull out my cell phone every single time. Hook up to the tractor, set my cell phone somewhere, have it running all day so I can see what the tractor's doing. That's not helpful. What's helpful is have everything on the instrument cluster. When I'm out there doing that stuff, I don't want my cell phone to be hooked to the tractor, other than maybe Bluetooth into a radio or something. And I don't even listen to the radio that much. I want to hear the tractor. I don't care about all the music and all that. Yes, I like music, but I want to hear the engine running. I want to hear the clicks and the clacks and everything else that's going on, so that I can hear something happening and I can pull over, stop, fix, make sure nothing's broke, those kind of things. That's why I don't listen to the radio that much. I will listen to it at a lower volume sometimes, but reality is, again, that's off the subject. Kind of got off on a little tangent there. But the reality is that I want to hear the tractor run. I don't want to have to use my cell phone to see gauges. I think that's just not a good way of doing it. There's some people that embrace that type of technology. I guess I'm too old to care or embrace that type of technology. I want the technology of the gauges. Simple. Why is it not there? So the first thing I want to show you is that I am sitting straight up and down on my sensitivity. Let's go to third medium. This is third medium, 3, and I'm in the B, which is medium, and we're still at the sensitivity is still the same place, and we're going to go forward. That's not bad at all. Okay, bring the tractor to a stop. Do not throw it from forward to reverse while you're moving. It's better to bring it to a stop. This is reverse. Now, if you remember, it was jerky before. It's not doing that now. Here's forward again. This is in third medium. We just went to neutral. We're to a stop. Now we're going into reverse. It's much better than what it was. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a clutch. We're going to stay in the same gear. We're at 1500 RPM. I probably didn't mention that before. We're at 1500 RPM. We're going to go ahead and go to the clutch. I'm going to push down the clutch. I'm going to put it in forward and come out on the clutch. See, it jerks a little bit. That's the one problem I'm really having. And so you feather off that clutch. You can feather off of it. I just did. But you have to go extremely slow. And I mean really slow. I'm going to go in reverse here now, and we're going to come off that clutch, and it's much better in reverse than it is in forward. So the values forward are a little bit out. But I tell you what, it seems like the more I do this, the better it does get. The biggest problem that I have found, there's that jerk. And I think what happens is that when you're coming off of the clutch, this is my opinion, when you're coming off the clutch, sometimes you think, okay, well, I'm off the clutch, and you kind of let up quickly. And that may be part of it. You have to stay pretty constant. Back in reverse, that was nice. Actually, that's very tolerable right there. So one of the issues now is, we're gonna leave it in third gear, but I'm gonna drop it into low, which I just did. So we're in low. Now you have a lot more torque here, and we're gonna go forward, and I was able to feather off of that, and that's better. This is reverse. That was a little bit jerky because I came off of it a little quick, so just be honest with you, still a little bit jerky. I'm still having a hard time coming off that clutch. Still a little bit jerky, but it's not bad as it was before. It was just about to break your neck. There you go. That's real clean. And when you're out in the field and you're plowing or you're treading or other things such as those items, this is not going to be a big issue, really, because you're dropping that plow on the ground, you're dropping that disc, you're just shredding, you're going long distances. That stuff's not going to bother you too much. What is going to bother you is if I'm loading up hay onto a trailer and it jerks forward when I'm trying to inch a bale onto the trailer, and it jerks forward, and then I run into the trailer, or I run into the back of a pickup truck, or I run into whatever it is. That's where the problem comes in, and why it's so important that you be able to feather. I'm attaching the implement to the back, and I'm trying to back up to that implement, and it jerks and just rams into the implement because I couldn't do it smoothly. That's where the problems are. And that's why you want that clutch to be so smooth. And it's, in this case, it's not as smooth as I would like it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this sensitivity and I'm going to drop it all the way to the lowest level. Like that. This is in low, and I'm just going to power shuttle it. Fairly smooth. Bring it to a stop. Look, the tires stopped. See that? Go to reverse. Fairly smooth. Remember, there's a lot of torque in your lower gears, so it's going to take off a little bit quicker. It's not like in the higher gears. But then here's the clutch. Put in forward. Come off the clutch forward. Not terrible, but not as good as I would like it to be. Still not bad though. Here's reverse clutch. A little bit jerky still, but not as good as I'd like it to be. That's for sure. I've shown you the issues. I've kind of very, the best I know how, explain what the shop is doing with it. They're changing values on that clutch. They're changing how fast those clutches come together. They're trying to make it as smooth as possible. I think TYM needs to work on that part of this tractor. They need to work on the sensitivities of how those clutches come together. They need to come together a little smoother and engage fully whenever they do come together. But at the same time, they have to come together at a little bit slower rate, and that means that the clutch maybe it needs a little more travel. Maybe that's the problem. I do wish, I really do. I wish TYM would maybe reach out and let's just walk through this. Let's fix this problem on this tractor and everyone else's tractor out there that might be having this same issue. I think, and maybe it's not me they need to reach out to. I'm a small channel. No one really is looking to help support these small channels like me, at least from what I've seen so far. And so my goal is to help you. And I guess what probably has really brought me down a little bit is people not seeing that we're just trying to help and help you fix the problems with your tractor. I do like my TYM. I really do. I like my LS too. I haven't had any real issues with it. Now the LS is at the shop. We're going to talk about that. But the LS is at the shop right now. That's why I picked this tractor up. Took the LS to the shop, dropped it off, and I need a tractor all the time. So I've got this one sitting here, ready to use. Got Yeller back there. He's ready to use. Yellow has problems, but that's that case IH 585. That's an older tractor. all mechanical, all mechanical. But and it's a beast of a tractor, but it's old. The engine needs to be rebuilt, things like that. There's issues with it, and these tractors are so much nicer to be in. They really are. I mean, I don't dread getting on that tractor in the fall and the winter. I dread getting on that tractor in the summer, though. Oh. Anyways, this is Texas. 8,000 degrees in the summertime and only 7,000 degrees in the winter. So that's the way it is. I hope I at least have helped someone have a better idea what's going on with these tractors. But until the next time, thanks.